on, Frida. Let's save the world.
My older sister and I played hero with dolls. I was saving Frida from the great dragon, and I was about to win when suddenly 3 boys appeared.
Oh, look, it's the freak and her little sister. They're playing with dolls like little losers.
Frida looked down. The boys of the village were always teasing her for her hair, which was quite a beautiful color in my opinion. But no one else on the island had the same hair color as her. Because of this, she was always teased, just because she was a little different.
Leave us alone.
Oh, yeah? What are you going to do about it?
You might think I'd have no chance against 3 older boys, but think again. I headbutted one of them while the other 2 backed away in fear.
This girl's crazy.
Yes, I'm crazy, and if you don't leave us alone, I'll destroy you.
Hey guys, my name's Astrid, and I'm a Viking. Please like and subscribe. My dad is the chief of our Viking village. He raised myself and my sister all on his own, and I couldn't have wished for a better dad. But things were tough for him. You see, usually boys are the ones who grow up to become chief of a village, and he only had daughters. But soon he discovered I was no ordinary girl. I loved fighting, and since I was just a wee baby, I knew I wanted to become the best warrior in the world.
Dad, I want to fight.
Astrid, you don't even know how to walk yet. But don't worry. As soon as you can start, I'll put you in training.
My older sister Frida was the exact opposite of me. She wanted to live a more gentler life.
Look, Frida, I destroyed my target.
Oh, that's nice.
For our birthdays, my dad would give Frida a pretty dress and give me a new suit of armor.
I love it. Thanks, Dad.
That's my Astrid. You'll make a fine chief one day.
Finally, when I was 14, Dad put me in training school. I was so happy. But my first day at school wasn't as amazing as I'd expected it to be.
This is no easy feat. Graduating from my training means hours of hard work and pain. Are you up for that?
Yes, sir.
And look what we have here. The chief's daughter.
I'm excited to get started, sir.
Is that so? You think you're up for this? You're the only girl who is in the class, you know. Usually I wouldn't accept girls, since they're much weaker than men. But since your dad is the chief, I had to go against my own wishes.
I clenched my fist. Did he just call me weak? I think, sir, you'll find women aren't nearly as weak as you think.
Oh, really?
Our teacher walked out to the fighting circle and gestured for me to follow.
You think you're so tough? Fight me.
What?
Fight me. Knock me down to the ground. Prove to me women aren't weak.
I took a deep breath and readied myself. I lunged at him, but within seconds he had tripped my legs and sent me face first into the dirt. Ow! The whole class of boys laughed at me while the teacher sneered in my face.
You still think you can handle my school?
I wanted to punch this dude in the face then and there, when suddenly I heard a voice call out from the crowd.
That's not fair. She's untrained, and you want her to fight against you? A professional. Why don't you have one of us fight you and see if we can do better? She didn't lose because she's a girl. She has just as much of a chance as us boys. Ooh. What are you? Soon to be wed? Look at Eric. So noble. That's enough. You, get up. And you, 100 push-ups for talking back to me.
We all got up and watched as Eric did 100 push-ups. I felt terrible. He was doing this because of me. After he finished and the teacher called us over to teach us the mechanics of using a shield, I went over to Eric. Hey, I'm sorry about...
Why are you apologizing? You shouldn't be sorry for anything. Our teacher is the one who should apologize.
But still, thank you. I really appreciate what you did.
Anytime, Astrid.
You know my name?
You're the chief's daughter. Of course I know. And gosh, it's a bit embarrassing. But when we were little, I sort of maybe had a little tiny crush on you.
Oh.
But not anymore. I mean,
Well, I hope we can be friends. I have a feeling you're the only nice one in this whole class. What do you say?
of course we'll be friends.
After that day, Eric and I got really close. We would hang out even outside of training school, and I came to realize just how kind, funny, and charming Eric was. Secretly, I had a crush on him, so it made me sad to know he didn't feel the same way. One day, Eric invited me over to the fighting ring so we could practice one-on-one. Sure, I was a lot better than the first day our teacher had humiliated me. Eric tried to jab at me, but I caught his arm and flipped him on the ground, landing on top of him.
Wow, you're much better than me.
Why are you surprised? Eric looked up at me, and I don't know what made me do it, whether it was the adrenaline or the rush, but I suddenly leaned in and kissed him.
Whoa.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have.
Astrid, you gotta stop apologizing.
But I just kissed you.
And I'm glad you did.
What? But that first day of training, you said you didn't have a crush on me anymore.
I just said that because I was too embarrassed to admit I still had a crush on you.
Oh, well, yay!
Yeah.
Eric and I started to date seriously after that, and I invited Eric over for dinner one night so he could meet my dad and sister.
This food is delicious. Thank you.
Frida made it. She's really good at cooking.
Not as good as my Astrid sparring. I heard she took you down in the ring today. Yeah, she's the best in the class. She must take after you. You bet. I heard you're second best in the class though, Eric. Well,
He is. He's amazing.
If he's so amazing, why don't you just marry him?
Frida? What are you saying?
I've lost my appetite. It was nice to meet you, Eric. Goodbye.
Frida left the table and we sat in awkward silence.
what's up with her?
I don't know. Eric, I'm sorry about my sister.
No, it's fine. This dinner was lovely. I really enjoyed your company, Chief. Come again, anytime, Eric.
I was glad my dad approved of Eric, but what was up with Frida? Eric was the perfect guy. Why didn't she like him? I decided to go to her room after dinner. Frida, can we talk?
What is there to talk about?
You were acting a little strange at dinner. Is something up?
If you have to know, I don't like Eric.
What? But why?
I don't trust him, Astrid. He gives off bad vibes.
What do you mean, bad vibes? Frida, you can trust him. I would trust him with my life.
Whatever. Let's just forget it, all right?
Frida got into bed and ignored me. I sighed. I loved Frida, and I cared about her opinion of my boyfriend. I really wish she liked him. That night, I kissed Eric goodbye and he left to go home. I had no idea that was the last time I'd see him for years. The next day, Eric didn't show up at training school. Maybe he's sick. But when I went to his house, his mom said he hadn't come home last night. That's when I started to panic. We searched the whole island for Eric, but we couldn't find him anywhere. He just disappeared. Years passed. I missed Eric terribly, and the only thing keeping me going was my training school. Now my grief for Eric had turned into power in combat, and I was undefeated in my class. Finally, I decided to challenge my teacher to a combat as revenge for that first day at school years ago. Come on, none of the other guys can defeat you. Why don't you let me try?
Fine. But don't think, 'cause you're a girl, I will go easy on you.
Oh, please don't. We readied ourselves, and this time, teacher made the first move and lunged at me. But I easily sidestepped him, then swung around and tripped him. The rest of the class was speechless. Man, this felt good. But suddenly, horns sounded and we all rushed outside. Those were the horns that meant someone was attacking the island. I spotted Dad running toward the northern point of the island. Dad, what's happening?
The enemy's been spotted. Hundreds of them. Get your weapons ready. This is no training practice. This is the real deal.
I nodded and got all my gear and rushed to catch up with my dad. On the way there, I bumped into Frida.
Astrid, what's
Frida, get back to the village center. Stay safe.
Where are you going?
To fight.
No, Astrid, let the men handle this, please.
No, Frida, this is what I've been training for. I hugged her quickly and then ran off after Dad. Frida called for me to stay back, but I ignored her pleas. When we made it to the cliff edge, we were shocked by how many attackers there were. We were outnumbered 2-1.
Men, you know what we must do. We defend our home or die trying!
Dad's warriors roared in response, and we all charged. The battle was intense. We easily could have been defeated, but thanks to my dad's leadership, we managed to thwart the enemy attackers and send them retreating. In the aftermath of the battle, I approached my dad. How did they manage to get on shore?
Someone must have guided them from the lighthouse. Otherwise, there's no way they would have made it through those rocks.
But does that mean?
Yes, we have a traitor among us. Chief, someone spotted a figure at the lighthouse. Quick, let's catch this traitor before he escapes.
We rushed to the lighthouse and entered. The traitor was the last person I expected to see. Eric?
Wait, Astrid, isn't this your old boyfriend?
Yes. I don't understand. He can't be a traitor. Eric was unconscious, but he started to wake up at the sound of our voices.
What? Where am I? What happened? Don't play games with me, boy.
Dad, stop it.
No, Astrid. This boy's a traitor, and he must be punished. Send him to the dungeons.
No. But no matter what I said, they wouldn't listen. Eric was sent to the dungeons and his fate would be decided in the morning. I sat in my room in despair. Eric was a traitor? I couldn't believe it, but he was at the lighthouse. He surely was the one who had guided our enemies onto our island. But it made no sense. Why had he disappeared? Why turn up now? And why was he unconscious when we found him? I couldn't make any sense of it. Someone knocked on my door and Frida appeared.
Astrid, I made some tea for you.
Oh, thanks, Frida. She handed me the tea and I sat there numbly. Go on. You can say I told you so.
I wasn't gonna say it.
But you were right. Eric couldn't be trusted.
I'm sorry, Astrid.
I sighed and leant my head against her. At least I have you, huh? Frida was silent and then she stood up.
Make sure you drink your tea.
I nodded and took a sip. I suddenly started to feel sleepy. I think I'll go to sleep.
You do that.
There was something about Frida's voice that sounded off, but within a few seconds I was already asleep. In my dreams, I started hearing strange noises and I woke up to battle sounds. I looked outside and screamed. Our village was being swarmed by the enemy. I ran out and went to Frida's room, but it was empty. I went to Dad's room and found him asleep in his bed. I decided to leave him and run outside. Suddenly, I heard footsteps and I was surrounded by the enemy. I was doomed. A shadowy figure appeared behind the enemy. Wait, I recognized that voice. The enemy parted to make way for Frida. Frida, think Odin you're okay.
Oh, I'm more than all right, sister.
Frida? No, don't tell me.
Yes, I'm the traitor.
No, it can't be.
Oh, but it's true.
Why, Frida? Why would you do this? This is your home.
It never felt like my home. I've always lived in your shadow. I've always been the weaker sister. Didn't you realize that as the older one, I should be the one to become chief? But no, just because you're into your stupid warrior nonsense, it should be you who becomes chief. Well, I wasn't gonna let you go on by and steal my crown. So, I called some friends over to take over this rotten island.
And Eric?
That fool? The poor thing caught me one day talking to the enemy about my plans. So of course I had to silence him. It's a pity you decided to pick him out as your boyfriend. But we all must make sacrifices, mustn't we?
You made him disappear?
I got my friends to keep him prisoner in a hidden cave on the island. Then when the time struck for the attack, I planted him at the lighthouse so he would look like a traitor. It was all too easy, really.
Frida, we're sisters. How could you do this?
It was the only way. Men, deal with them.
Frida turned away, turned her back on me, on her family, her home, and the enemy marched forward. I prepared to defend myself when suddenly a war cry was heard, and Eric appeared. Eric knocked down the first line of enemies in a flash.
I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you, Astrid.
I'm so happy you're alive, Eric.
Frida, she...
I know.
I'm sorry.
Now you're the one apologizing?
We can defeat them, Astrid.
I nodded. Together. The enemy rushed toward us and we charged. We knocked them down one after another, like pawn pieces on a chessboard, until eventually they were all unconscious. Only Frida stood there, baffled by our comeback.
But no.
I approached my sister, eyeing her down for the traitor she was.
Fine. Go on. Kill me.
I reached her and...
Huh?
I'm sorry, Frida. I should have realized how unfairly we'd been treating you. Me, Dad, we should have paid more attention to you. I should have paid more attention to you. But I see you now. I hugged her tighter. I see you. I could feel Frida's hot tears splashing on my own cheek.
I didn't want any of this.
There. I know.
I'm sorry, Astrid.
It's okay. I forgive you. We held on to each other for dear life. I don't know what the future holds, but for now, I know I have to be there for my sister.